Welcome, guys. Thanks for coming back to our Lunch and Learn. Sorry we're running a few minutes late. As usual, internet connection issues, but it looks like our connection is pretty good now. You should be able to see us just fine. Today we're going to be discussing a different drone than our ag drones that we've talked about the last couple Lunch and Learns, and I'm super excited to show you guys our Evo lineup from Autel. These are a light-duty commercial drone. They have 3 different models, and they just have packed with features at an amazing price point for what you get. So we're going to be covering a little bit of the software because I think a lot of the software is not as well shown. I think there's a lot of features there that that really I want to get in depth to and show you guys how they work, because they're really cool features that built into the software that I think a lot of competitors don't have. We'll jump into that shortly. But before we do that, let me go ahead and introduce John here. And John, you say a couple words about yourself and introduce yourself?
Yes, I'm here. I was just typing welcome to our weekly Lunch and Learn in the chat. So my name is John. I'm one of the commercial sales advisors here at HSE along with Ron. So we call it the Ron John Drone Show. No, I'm just kidding. But seriously, on a real note, if you have any questions today as we go through this, please type them in the chat. And after we're done demonstrating the software for the Autel, we'll address some of those questions. And if any of those questions are actually about the software, I have, I think, the authority to interrupt Simon briefly and ask that question. So thanks, guys, for being with us today. And Simon, let's get going, man. I want to see the software.
Awesome. Yeah. And like John just said, if you do have any questions, put them in the chat. But if you're not live for any reason and you do still have questions, just visit us at our website. You'll see it right here, hse-uav.com, right above my head, floating right here. There it is. If I can point the right way. It's hard. This is tough.
Yeah. I don't know how they do that in the newsrooms.
It's tough. I don't think I could be a weatherman. Let's put it that way. Let's go ahead and jump into the software. So let's go ahead and switch our scene here. Alrighty. This is the Autel Evo 2 Explorer app. This is the start screen. As you can see, it shows us some beautiful footage of that's been shot with the Evo platforms. We have camera and mission, and this software is incredibly easy to use. And before we jump into the camera and mission settings, one thing I want to mention that I really like about the Autel as a company in this particular software is it doesn't require you to be logged in with a username and password and sharing your information. It's actually completely optional. In fact, if I tap on the little icon on the top right here, you'll notice I'm actually not logged into this system. So it doesn't require you to be logged in. And also, I'll show you the controller that I have here. You guys might be able to see it here. This controller actually has a built-in screen. And this screen can actually be used to operate the drone completely. It doesn't even require a tablet or phone to be actually connected to in order to use the aircraft. The entire system is designed to be rapidly deployable. So I think they claim within 10 seconds you can actually fly the aircraft from turning it on to actually having it in the air. So it's designed with that commercial type of use in mind for first responders, fire departments, surveillance, security measures, mapping, surveying. There's so many uses for these drones. And I'll show you guys real quick here. I have one here. This is the Evo2 Dual. There's 3 separate models. In all 3 models, it's actually the same drone. You guys can see it here. It's not very large. Got a bit of heft to it, but not a huge drone. So this is the dual model, and the dual model actually has 2 cameras. So this is a thermal camera and an 8K resolution visual RGB camera. The thermal camera is a 640 by 512 resolution. It's basically the best you can get in something this size at this price point.
Go ahead. This particular camera, Simon, I just wanted to mention because you said some things that are interesting, but it is on the ITAR list as well.
Yeah,
so
it is.
This drone is the best of the best when it comes to thermal imaging.
It really is, especially for the size and price point. You really can't get any better than this. There are also 2 other models of the Evo 2 line. So it's the same drone. It's really just the camera that changes. And what's really cool about these systems is the gimbals are interchangeable. So you can start with a base model Evo 2 and upgrade it to a dual if you want to. So super cool that you can actually swap the cameras, or if you ever have anything with the camera that you want to change it out for some reason, it's literally 2 screws to replace it.
That's crazy. That's awesome.
It's super easy. But we have the Evo 2 Standard, which is just an 8K camera. Then we have the Evo 2 Pro, which is actually a 6K camera, but it's a larger sensor for better quality. It has some more features built into it. You guys can check out all the specs on our website, again, hsc-uav.com. And then finally, kind of the top of the line model is the Dual that has the thermal camera and the 8K camera, and you can swap switch cameras live.
Well, what's cool too, Simon, is that because you mentioned the models are the same, you could purchase, the the dual drone, and then also the 6K gimbal and swap them out, and then you would have all 3 cameras with one drone body.
Exactly. It's a really great setup. And, I've been flying this drone quite a lot in the last, almost a year now. We got it pretty early on.
I have to say.
Jealous. I know. You keep asking me to send it your way. Well, maybe
pretty
soon.
Jealous.
I want to hang on to it. Okay. I don't want to send it. Just kidding.
All right. Let's get into this.
Yeah, let's get into the software. So we'll get into the camera mode in a second, but first I want to go into the mission mode because I think this is really where this system shines. Let's go ahead and tap on mission. And you'll see it gives me a few options here for creating a mission. You have waypoint, rectangular, polygon, and oblique. You can see them right up there. There you go. We're getting good at this pointing game.
Way over there.
Way over there. So let's talk about these different types of missions real quick.
But this is out of the box.
This is out of the box. This is included with this system. There's no additional
you would need a third-party
subscription or anything.
That you have to pay for, right?
Right. A lot of competitors in this market, you have to buy a third-party software, which is typically a subscription-based software, which means you have to pay for it every month. This has it built in out of the box.
That's great.
Waypoint mission would be a mission where you would select individual points of interest for your drone, and the drone will fly from point to point, and there's all sorts of features that you can have the drone do at each point.
Okay.
So that's really useful
for
something
like what kind of missions do you think?
Yeah, like a surveillance type of mission. Say you have a property and you want to monitor each entrance of your property. You could set up each point at each entrance of your property and have the aircraft automatically fly there. What's really cool is in the Waypoint mission, you can set up points of interest, which are points at which the drone will actually keep the camera pointed at. So you can have, for example, 2 points and 2 points of interest. And as the drone flies from one point to the next, it'll actually keep the camera pointed at the point of interest as it's moving. So you never lose sight of it. So it
might fly sideways or backwards or crooked or something for you.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, really cool.
I had a question came up yesterday on a call kind of about this.
Sure.
Is this a good time maybe to
Let's do it, yeah.
Okay, cool. So he was asking about the idea of this type of surveillance where it's going to fly once or twice a day, but he would like for it to be automated and just do it. And it's like over there because it's an oil and gas type setup.
Right.
So the drone, it's so far from home base, but he would like to be able to just have something where it just automatically does it. Nobody even has to be there.
This is
somehow.
This would be perfect.
Okay.
Yeah, let me do a quick demonstration of how we'd set this up. So we're here at our office here at HSC headquarters, and we're in our Waypoint mission. So all we do is click on the map to create a mission. It's going to bring up some kind of standard parameters. So you can set your altitude, the action in which the drone take when it's done, the camera action while it's flying, the speed, the heading, the gimbal pitch, the standard gimbal pitch. We'll leave all the default settings for now.
Wow.
And all we do is we can tap on the map. I'm going to add a point here. We can tap on the map to add points. Oh, hang on. Let me set this up here. And as you can see, it's saying the remote control and mobile phone are disconnected. That means I'm not actually connected to the drone, which means I can create all these missions at my leisure without having the drone or the camera or the controller or anything connected.
Oh, that's cool.
So you can see here I'm adding points along my map, and this is the route that the drone would fly.
Okay.
You can see at the kind of the center here, let me zoom in a little bit, that's our start point with an S, and then finally we added an extra point by accident. That's okay. And finally, you have
That's
an
cool.
end
You
point.
just added one pretty easy there.
Yeah, you can add them in between the lines here too if you just tap on it. Super easy. And you can go to each one of these points and modify all of these parameters at the bottom. Let me move out of the way a little bit. You can see that altitude, the speed, the action. So for example, in action, we can actually change the type of action. So for example, we can add an action and have it take a photo at this point. Super cool. Or you can have it start recording or do a time lapse. So many options here.
That's really nice.
You can have it hover at this point for a certain amount of time, for example.
My drone doesn't do this.
I know, right? You can close that. You can have it hover at this point for a certain amount of time, for example. But let me show you one of my favorite features. Let's exit out of this. At the bottom here, you'll notice there's a couple different icons. One of which is this little star icon right here. That is a POI, or a point of interest. So let's say there's a point of interest right here at this building. Oh, let me go back to it. I can add that little yellow star, and that is my point of interest. Here's where it gets really, really cool. If I go to this waypoint, for example, waypoint 2, I can edit this and link my point of interest. See how it says none linked right now? I can select that and select POI 1. And now you'll notice, if you look carefully, you can actually see that little cone there. That's showing the camera angle, and it's pointing at that point of interest. And we can do this for each one of these points, and you can have as many points of interest as you want. So as the drone is flying around this path, the camera will always be pointed at that point. Super cool. And you can even edit the point of interest, so you can change the altitude. So let's say it's a building. You can actually set the altitude of the point of interest, and the camera will point automatically at that height.
Oh, wow. So you
Super cool.
Oh, man. So you have to put that makes total sense. Like if you're inspecting in a tower, right? That's 500 feet, whatever it may be. You could put that altitude right on the tip of that tower.
Exactly. And you can see all these little triangular shaped cones around each point. That's the direction the camera is facing. And you can see at point, at point 2 here, it's pointing at the point of interest. So we can set points of interest anywhere along this map and have the camera point automatically, which is just so cool.
Okay. That's great.
Do you have any questions about that, or any questions in the comments about that?
No questions yet. So yeah, guys, if you do have questions, feel free to put them in the chat for us.
Awesome.
And we will answer those. So I think I saw some other types of missions too, right?
There are. Let's go. I mean, there's so much more that I can show you here.
Yeah,
but
there's so much more.
This is just the basics. But we can go into the other missions here. So let's go back to the mission page. We don't need to save that one. Now I have a couple other options here. Now, these other missions are designed for essentially surveying or mapping or creating a photo-based map. So let me show you what I mean by that. I'll click on rectangular. This is the simplest type of mission. As you can see, just like the page we had before, we have this start screen. We can search a location up here. That's something I didn't show. You can type in an address or a zip code, and it'll bring you to that location. But we'll create ours here. And I'll just hit create project. And you'll notice as soon as I hit create project, it drops a mission here. And I can easily adjust it. So let's say I wanted to map this office complex. We could actually drag our mission like so.
That's really
so intuitive, right? It's that easy.
Yeah.
Okay. Now at the bottom here, this little squiggly line inside the box allows us to adjust our settings. So we can adjust our altitude, our speed, our overlap. This is something that's so cool. So you can see our altitude we can adjust here. I have it set to metric now, but you guys kind of get the idea. 50 meters, for example.
Yeah.
At that height, this other value here, which is centimeters per pixel, this is on the ground when the image is taken, how large a pixel is. So at 60 meters of flight altitude, each pixel is 0.76 centimeters. Just think about that for a second. That's that big. That's a pixel on the ground. That's the resolution that you'll have in your image. It's pretty incredible.
So a pixel is in real life what size? What
It's
centimeters?
basically less than a centimeter.
Less than a centimeter.
And as you change your altitude, this increases or decreases. So if I go lower,
wow,
0.3.
That's some resolution right there.
Yeah, and that's the beauty of that 8K camera. It's a really, really high resolution camera. So again, here we have some other settings.
I do have a quick question for you from the chat.
Perfect. Yeah, let's answer that.
Yeah, so Mark Black asks, is this Google Maps the mission is being created from?
Yes, it uses Google Maps as standard, but again, the beauty of this drone is once you generate this mission and map it, you can now have an up-to-date map of this area.
And
that's the whole point of doing it.
Yeah, and you do save it, right, as missions, and when you go back to that, it's stored within the Autel drone as well.
Absolutely. I'll show you how to do that in just a second, actually. So
excellent.
Again, here we have some other settings. Yeah,
yes,
great.
Thank you for the question.
Great question, Mark. Awesome. Yeah, all these other settings, basically, we can have it go home when it's done. We can hit close. And the coolest thing is it's so easy because basically once you're done, you just hit this little button to the right, which is our fly button. The drone just takes off and does everything automatically from start to finish. It's so simple. Cool. So simple. And down here, we can save it. We have a little save button. So we can save it as our demo mission. Demo. And now that's saved. So when I go back to my home screen, if I were to close the app, for example, I can go back to mission, and there's my demo mission right there. 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 So I can click on that.
That way.
Yeah, there you go. And it opens right back up. Now, there's other options available as well for missions. This was just a rectangular mission, but we can also do polygon. So if it's not a rectangular area, we can do a polygon mission and add as many points as we need. I'm just kind of showing you real quick here how we can do
mapping mission. That's pretty neat.
Isn't that cool? So we can actually create basically any shape we want here.
Whoa,
that's gotten a little crazy. I don't know what I did. I'm not paying attention. No, there we go. But you guys get the idea. There's quite a few options here. There's also an oblique mission. This one's actually new to the software. It allows you to do basically a cross mission, which is super cool.
What is that?
We'll have to do an entire
multiple mapping missions or something.
Right. Yeah, it lets you fly it in two directions
or something.
I believe it lets you fly in two separate directions for more overlap. Sorry about the beeping there. I left the controller on without having the drone connected.
Yeah, that scared me.
Yeah, it did. Me too. But yeah, a lot of different options here. And again, this is all built in to the Autel Explorer app and included as standard. And what's really cool is if for some reason this doesn't have the features that you need, Autel is also supported by a lot of third-party apps like Drone Deploy, Air Data, and all kinds of other options as well. Yeah. So it basically gives you a ton of flexibility on these drones. And if I haven't mentioned it already, I mean, the specs on these drones are so impressive. 40 minutes of flight time. They can handle incredible amounts of wind. The sensors are basically the best you can get in this type of payload class. And the customers that are flying these love them.
You don't have to calibrate it as often as you might some other competitor drones. It comes out of the box and it's like ready to fly. And it doesn't matter if you traveled across the state, it still seems to be calibrated. And my drone, I'm not going to say which one it is, but if I go any more than 5 miles, I have to do a calibration and a drone dance before I start.
That's right. And
if you're a police officer, that's not a fun thing to do.
No.
When you're trying to take off.
So actually, that's a really good point that you bring up. And that's, again, like I mentioned, this system is designed to be very quickly deployable. So it doesn't even require GPS to fly or to arm the aircraft. So you can, you can take off
and then get the GPS in the air.
Exactly.
Wow.
And it has a incredible obstacle avoidance system. So it's actually a 720-degree obstacle avoidance system. I believe it has 12 separate cameras on board the drone. You guys can kind of see all these little dots that you see on the drone. All the way around it are cameras that are used to protect a drone for obstacles. So it works incredibly well. I mean, I don't want to call it idiot proof, but it basically is. I mean, you almost can't crash it. We've kind of tried to do it. You really can't. The obstacle detection works incredibly well, and the camera performance is unbelievable. Honestly, it's even in 20 mile an hour winds, it's just perfectly steady. There's no jumpiness to the video at all. And we've just been so impressed by this system. It's really pretty amazing.
Yeah. Well, I think we're getting close to the end of the stream. If there's any other question, guys, please throw them in the chat. And what else do you want to show on the Autel line?
Yeah, let's. I'll go into the camera section real quick here. Awesome. And I don't have the drone connected, but you guys will be able to get the idea here of some of the features that it has in the camera mode. Let me skip through this here. So let me go to the top here where it says manual flight. If I click on that, it brings up all of my different modes that I have when I'm flying the drone manually. So before I showed you a mission mode, now this is manual mode.
Oh, so that's cool.
We have manual flight where we can just use our controller and fly the drone around. We have a dynamic track option, which basically allows the drone to track a subject. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Show them the controller again.
Oh, yeah, right here.
So one of the things I love about this drone is that if you're in a pinch and you need to get up and see what's going on, you don't even have to connect it to a tablet or a phone. It has enough that you can see what is going on
right here,
right there. But you know what I mean? So it's just nice that you can fire that up and see what's going on quickly. And then you could connect your tablet in the middle of the mission if you have to, just so you can see better.
It is. And I love this screen. So when you're using it with a tablet, this screen shows all of your kind of vital information of the drone. So the battery life, the time of flight remaining, the distance, the gimbal angle, the controller battery level, and it's a beautiful high resolution color display. And there's a little button in the top here that switches from the camera to the regular display. So if you just need, like you said, you're in a pinch, you just want to take off and fly, you can fly it straight from this screen. It's actually a really bright screen. You can see it perfectly even in the daylight. And you can actually connect your app later on, which is super cool.
Yeah,
you can do
I was really impressed with that.
Every feature is available through this screen. It's pretty amazing.
Yeah, and you can even get an extra remote and do a pass off if you have to. If you're in a situation where you've got a visual line of sight and you need to like pass it to another pilot, you could actually get an extra remote and do that.
That's right. So I'll talk about a couple of these modes. A lot of these, are pretty self-explanatory, but there's some here that I think are really interesting, specifically for the type of use that this drone is typically used for, which is a light commercial duty. So dynamic track allows you to track a subject automatically. It'll simply follow the subject dynamically. It's super cool. A little creepy because you basically can't run away from the drone. We've tried. It also has a tripod track option, which keeps the drone hovering in one spot, but points the camera at whatever it needs to track. The viewpoint is kind of interesting. It allows you to select an area in the video display, and the drone will fly to it really smoothly. It's really great for almost like a crane camera type shot. But one of my favorite is the smart orbit mode. I think this is really useful for a lot of first responders. Basically, it allows you to circle an area and point the camera at a target. So you can just simply select an area within the camera, and the drone will automatically start doing a circle. So you get a 360-degree continuous shot and surveillance of what you circled. It's just super cool. And finally, that is cool. It's really cool. This is another feature that I really like is a precision flight, which you see right behind me here, right there. The precision flight basically allows you to reduce the distance for the obstacle detection and makes the controls really, really soft and fine-tuned, I guess you could call it. And it allows you to get very close to objects. So let's say you're doing a power line inspection or a tower inspection. I mean, you can get literally inches away from it and be very confident in your controls because it's not too sensitive. So a lot of really cool options. Again, I'm not going to bore you with all the options. We don't have time to go over all of them, but These are just some of them. Some of my favorites, again, the Precision Flight, Smart Orbit, and the Dynamic Track. They all work incredibly well. And Autel is always adding new features. For example, the Hyperlapse feature is new. It allows you to do a time lapse with the drone hovering in one spot over time. And this is a really, really cool type of shot.
Yeah, those are really fun. I've played with that some personally, Hyperlapse. It's cool because you see the clouds moving and the drone's even moving.
That's right.
You see the cars moving, but the rest of the Earth looks pretty steady. It's
a
really cool feature. And it's nice that it does it for you, because back in the day, it would take tons of pictures, and then you would have to post go in and turn it into a time lapse, hyperlapse. So it's nice that it has it right there now.
Yeah, and something cool here that I like is that every time you connect the app, it actually does a automatic pre-flight security check, and it has these descriptions on what to check before you fly. So really handy. Even reminds you all the controls here, how to arm the aircraft. It's really, really handy, and there's so much built-in instruction to this system. You can switch from camera mode to and right here, again, I don't have the drone connected, but you would see the camera right here. You can switch to the map mode in the top. You have your various camera functions down here. You can bring up the menu at the bottom, and it has all of your various camera modes. Really, really intuitive system to operate if you have your settings in the top right. Overall, I mean, I can't say enough good things about this system. The whole package is honestly fantastic. And I think our customers agree with that too.
We haven't talked about the live deck.
No, we haven't. And that's something that we will be demoing.
Use in our demos coming up.
Exactly. So let's talk about the live deck. The live deck is a device. It looks kind of like a router, but what it allows you to do is have a secondary stream from the drone transmitted to this box, the live deck, and it just has an HDMI output. So what does that mean? Well, you can connect it to a big display, so you don't have to watch your video on a small screen. You can have it on a big display, or it even has built-in Ethernet options, so you can actually stream the video live on a private Ethernet stream. So you can stream it anywhere in the world. And let's not forget, these Autel systems have about a 4.5 mile range, so the range is incredible. So the live deck is amazing for situational awareness type of missions where you want to have a secondary group being able to view the video stream at the same time as the operator.
That is just really neat that we're going to be able to do that, and also help people set that up if they're curious on, like, they're like, oh, they're buying the live deck from us, and it's like, yeah, okay, we use it. This is how you use it. So
yeah, it's fantastic. And I see we're nearing the end of our lunch and learn here. It seems like we're always got too much to talk about almost. But again, this is why we do these lunch and learns every Tuesday at noon Eastern time. You guys can join us at any time. Again, if you want to be reminded of our lunch and learns and you don't want to miss one, just make sure to hit the subscribe button below. Hit the little bell. That's going to notify you whenever we go live. Again, we're going to be going live every Tuesday, noon Eastern, with a new topic, and we're going to be doing more and more demos as well. We'll have a demo with the Autel with the live camera coming soon. And again, we're just super excited to show you guys. And if you do have any other questions, just don't forget our website, hse-uav.com. You'll see it right there. And we'll look forward to hearing back from you guys. John, anything else you want to say before we close it out?
Well, if it's okay, I did have a question that came up in a call the other day, and I'd like to address it. It's about batteries, and it'd be shifting gears to the sprayers, if that's okay.
That's fine. Yeah, let's do it.
Real quick. And before we get into it, guys, like Simon said, if you have topics or ideas that you'd like to hear about, please, drop us a chat, maybe on our website, a chat in here, because we definitely want to bring you the content that you'd like to hear about. So today was a software demo with Autel. So Simon, I want to say thank you for taking some time out of your day to come in here, and thank you also for your help getting these streams together. It's just really fun to be able to address questions for everybody live like this. So, because they're questions that everybody asks and we have to answer, a lot. So I like addressing them here, if that's okay. So the question was this. So our Helio crop spraying drones have And remind me again, what battery do they come with? It's a 1600 milliamp battery, I believe.
Yeah, a 16,000 milliamp hour
16,000.
battery.
I meant 16,000.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, it's okay, and it's a 12 cell battery.
Okay. So there are, I guess, some about 22,000 milliamp batteries. And the question I got was, can we just put a more powerful battery so we can hopefully get, 2 flights on our drone sprayers? And I wasn't sure how to answer it. And I told him I would check with you. And so here we are.
Sure. Well, that's a really good question. And the simple answer is, yeah, you could put a bigger battery in, like a 22,000 milliamp hour battery. However, the drones have limitations in terms of maximum takeoff weight.
Okay.
So if you put a larger battery in the case of a crop spraying drone, typically we'd have to reduce the amount of payload that we can carry too. So in a lot of cases, it's just not beneficial because you're increasing your flight time, but you're decreasing the payload. So you're not really able to fly more efficiently in most cases. The reason we have the battery sized the way we do is because they're sized in such a way that one flight equals, or one charge basically equals one spray mission. So that's why they're sized that way.
It's like a power to weight ratio that we're balancing.
Exactly. So again, it is possible to use a bigger battery, but you're going to decrease your payload and the batteries are going to be more expensive. So in terms of cost versus efficiency, that's why we suggest the batteries that we suggest.
Gotcha.
Great question.
And I would guess that it would probably void the warranty. I'm just curious if that would be the case if you used a different battery or no.
It's possible if you overload the aircraft and have a situation because the aircraft is too heavy to fly and potentially overheat certain things. So you do run a risk with that. As far as the warranty, I'd have to double check, but that's a really good question. Yeah.
So the follow-up question would be any idea of weight differential, right? So we'd have to look at the weight of the battery's difference, and whatever that is, that would be the amount of weight that we'd have to reduce on the payload.
Exactly. Okay.
So you just have to do a little bit of math.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, absolutely. And that's a great question. And actually, John, I like being able to answer a question like that at the end of our stream. So we'll do that next time too.
Okay.
So again, if you guys do have any questions, just put it in the comments or ask us on our website. You can see it. It's right above me. It's right there.
Talking to me or Ron throughout the week, maybe Simon, when questions come up that we're not sure of, I'll make a mental note as well and bring them to you, Simon. So thank you.
Absolutely. All right, guys. Well, we're going to close